Choosing the wrong breed for your homestead is the fastest way to burn your hard-earned capital and fail your flock. I've watched too many seasoned producers go broke buying animals just because they look good on a magazine cover, ignoring whether their land can actually sustain them. Down here in the scorching heat, where the sun shows zero mercy, bringing cold weather genetics into the deep south, the arid brushlands of Texas, or the humid plains of Florida is financial suicide. The relentless heat melts down any unadapted species. Today, we tackle this issue head-on with muddy boots and calloused hands. We are matching up two undisputed heavyweights of heat resistance, the Katahdin sheep and the Anglo Nubian goat. The core problem is that folks pick a breed without understanding how that specific biological machine operates under severe heat stress. The solution is aligning your available forage with the right powerhouse. The Katahdin builds an ironclad shield of low-maintenance meat, while the Anglo Nubian cracks open the lucrative dual-purpose market, delivering heavy carcasses alongside premium high-butterfat milk. Let's begin. Today we dissect a strategic matchup that defines the future of farming in punishing climates. On one side of the fence, we have the Katahdin sheep, the undisputed cornerstone of meat production in scorching environments. This hair sheep operates as a biological engine custom-built to turn rough pasture into premium muscle without demanding fancy barns or intensive care. Standing on the opposite side of the dirt lot is the Anglo Nubian goat, the ultimate all-terrain browser of arid ecosystems. This long-eared powerhouse not only withstands temperatures that would instantly shut down other dairy breeds, but it keeps pumping out a steady volume of rich milk and packs a massive frame. Understanding these two animals is pure survival. Each species dominates a different layer of vegetation and demands a distinct homesteading blueprint to put money back into your pocket. When we look at environmental adaptation, the contrast in their biological survival strategies is fascinating. The Katahdin is a grazing powerhouse that thrives right where high humidity and heavy parasite loads wipe out traditional wool breeds. Its crossbred foundation gifted this animal a dense hair coat that sheds out naturally the moment the seasons change and the heat rolls in. This biological feature erases the massive cost of annual shearing, which is a recurring financial nightmare in hot regions. I've walked right through Katahdin flocks at 100 degrees in the dead of summer, and those animals just keep their heads down, foraging with thermal comfort. That proven heat resistance protects your cash flow, because a sheep that does not suffer from heat stress never stops gaining weight. Furthermore, their natural tolerance to the heavy worm burdens found in wet pastures slashes the need for commercial chemical dewormers. This keeps your margins intact and allows you to maintain a vigorous, hardy flock with minimal veterinary intervention. Stepping over into the goat pens, the Anglo Nubian relies on a different but equally effective biological cooling system. Those iconic, long, pendulous ears act as natural, blood-filled radiators, pulling heat away from the core and dissipating it into the air under the blistering sun. Its mixed desert heritage built a skeletal frame capable of trekking miles across scrubland to find forage in the midday heat without compromising its yearly reproductive cycle. While European dairy goats require permanent shade structures and forced ventilation just to keep their milk supply flowing, the Nubian confidently heads out to browse when the sun hits its peak. However, every machine has a vulnerability, and for the Nubian it is standing water and deep mud. This heavy goat requires pens with impeccable topographical drainage and bone-dry bedding to prevent infectious hoof rot from taking hold. If you manage the mud during the rainy season, this goat will reward your effort with steady, heavy lactations straight through the most hostile summer droughts. By rigorously evaluating their feeding behavior, you uncover exactly how each species impacts your bank account through daily forage conversion. The Katahdin sheep is an efficient grazer, genetically programmed to devour and utilize the lowest stratum of your pastures. This animal doesn't demand imported alfalfa bales to stay alive and productive. Its robust rumen is calibrated to ferment tough summer grasses and transform them into clean, high-value muscle mass. A mature flock sire raised strictly on grass can easily tip the scales between 200 and 240 pounds, while mature breeding ewes hold their ground solidly around 145 pounds. This aggressive foraging capability means your dependence on expensive bagged feed drops to near zero. You can keep entire groups packing on daily pounds out on rough terrain, relying purely on strict rotational grazing management and access to a good mineral block. The feeding strategy of the Anglo Nubian breaks away from low-level grazing, taking its place as a competitive browsing machine. Its tall, leggy anatomy and extended neck allow it to rise up gracefully on its hind legs to strip tree leaves, protein-rich pods, thorny brush, and woody foliage that sheep will not even attempt to reach. It is the ultimate brush-clearing asset for reclaiming overgrown, broken terrain or exploiting the resources of a dry wooded lot. But here you must face the production facts. Because it is a massive dual-purpose animal, its metabolic nutritional requirement runs far higher than that of a strict meat sheep. A doe in peak lactation will routinely give you over half a gallon to 3/4 of a gallon of milk every single day, boasting an enviable butterfat content that often pushes past 4%. To sustain this heavy milk volume without forcing the animal to strip its own muscle reserves, you must ensure it has access to high-protein legumes and back up the daily pasture intake with calculated rations of energy grain in the feed trough. Diving deep into the trenches of health management, the hidden cost of human labor is what truly dictates the net success of your homestead over the long haul. Running Katahdin genetics is the absolute definition of agility and peace of mind for the solo farmer. These breeding ewes possess fierce maternal instincts. They lamb out on their own in the back pasture, delivering strong twins packed with incredible biological vitality. Those newborn lambs break their own sacks, stand up on wobbly legs, and latch onto the udder in a matter of minutes, requiring zero pulling or midnight assistance. This enviable natural independence lets you actually sleep through the grueling peak of lambing season. Your daily chore routine compresses down efficiently to moving portable electric netting, checking the water troughs, and running the scale for monthly weight checks. Since there is no wool to hide problems, your visual inspection for hidden abscesses, external pests, or sudden drops in body condition is direct and takes seconds. On the flip side, managing the daily routine of the Anglo Nubian raises the labor bar high, forcing you to structure your time with precision and unbreakable schedules. We're talking about a herd that demands your punctual presence in the milking parlor every single morning, imposing strict hygiene routines to keep mastitis, the silent destroyer of dairy profits, out of your herd's udders. Even though their kidding rate is prolific and yields robust twins, raising those kids requires firm decisions. Many seasoned breeders opt to pull the kids and switch to artificial milk replacer, reserving the highly valuable raw milk to craft premium-aged cheeses. This hands-on rearing process in the weaning pens requires mixing warm formulas and washing bottles, which adds serious time to your morning chores. Additionally, this is a highly intelligent creature. If your perimeter fences lack tension, the Nubian will spot the weakness instantly and break out to decimate your highest value vegetable crops. The Katahdin ewe operates in the pasture as an all-terrain grazing powerhouse, a blueprint of biological efficiency capable of colonizing harsh brushlands without draining your bank account. Her remarkable resilience allows her to withstand the baking equatorial sun and seek shelter under thorny scrub without compromising her core reproductive vigor. Her gregarious temperament creates a cohesive flock that moves together, making herding a low-stress operation for a solo farmer. Regarding your homestead layout, this animal frees you from the financial burden of constructing massive, climate-controlled barns. She requires only portable electric netting to manage your rotational grazing patterns, simple wooden shelters built from local timber, and easily accessible waterers. This minimalist approach protects your initial capital, allowing for seamless and rapid flock expansion. This grazing engine dominates ground-level forage, devouring creeping legumes and tough summer grasses with an enviable, relentless appetite. Looking at the livestock scale, you can run high stocking rates, sustaining 5 mature ewes per acre without destroying the soil ecosystem. These exceptional mothers reliably wean off heavy lambs pushing past 48 pounds at just 60 days of age on raw pasture alone. However, your preventative health protocols must remain razor-sharp against internal parasites to protect that growth curve. It is mandatory to conduct weekly visual checks of the eye mucous membranes using the FAMACHA method, monitor standing water in resting areas, and guarantee constant access to high-quality loose mineral salt. Crossing into goat territory, the Anglo Nubian doe establishes herself as the undisputed queen of the dry tropics, visually dominating her surroundings. Her heat tolerance is legendary, enduring a blistering sun while her long, pendulous ears act as natural radiators to dissipate thermal stress. She carries a deeply hierarchical temperament, confidently leading the herd toward the highest branches, with an attitude demanding heavy-duty containment systems. Handling her daily routine forces you to invest serious upfront capital. You must build elevated shelters featuring slatted floors to guarantee total moisture drainage, stretch exceptionally tall perimeter fences to prevent daily escapes, and pour flawless concrete in the milking parlor, ensuring a spotless environment every morning. Her natural feeding strategy in the brush is aggressive vertical browsing, rising on her powerful hind legs to strip woody foliage, high-protein seed pods, and rough tree bark that sheep ignore. Reviewing production records, this doe consistently delivers a steady lactation hovering around 8 pounds of milk daily, boasting a spectacular 4.5% butterfat content that multiplies the profit margins of your artisan cheese operation. But this elite yield triggers critical health alerts the second the rainy season hits. Deep mud is a lethal threat. You must execute scheduled hoof trimming to stop foot rot, obsessively disinfect teats post-milking to dodge mastitis, and administer timed clostridial vaccines. Stepping up to the genetic core, the Katahdin ram operates as a relentless guardian and the undisputed reproductive engine of your maternal base. His natural heat shield is an evolutionary masterpiece, allowing him to maintain explosive breeding vigor through the sweltering heat of a deep summer drought, guaranteeing massive conception rates. His temperament remains docile for the smart farmer, yet he displays an untiring attitude, pursuing ewes across sprawling pastures. Managing this flock sire is austere and easy on the wallet. He simply needs sturdy individual resting pens built from thick wooden posts, deep natural shade across his breeding pastures, and clean water troughs to stay in prime working condition. This rustic foundation sire maintains his heavily muscled chassis by basing his entire diet on pure pasture intake, extracting vital nutrients from woody weeds and marginal roughage that pampered show breeds reject. The performance facts in the field are undeniable. A mature ram effortlessly breaks past 210 pounds of lean muscle, showcasing astonishing stamina to successfully cover up to 40 ewes in a tight 45-day window. Your health alerts to protect this asset require inspecting hooves to rule out infectious lameness, monitoring his scrotum for embedded ticks during tropical rainstorms, and ensuring he receives perfect daily levels of selenium from a custom mineral mix. Over in the heavy-duty pens, the Anglo Nubian buck emerges as the true patriarch of the farm, a massive specimen of structural power demanding instant respect. His resistance to searing temperatures is superb. His loose skin grants exceptional comfort in punishing climates, allowing him to trek miles across arid landscapes without panting. He possesses an intensely territorial temperament and a famously pungent odor during the active rutting season, demanding a handler with an iron will. The facilities to contain this force of nature demand industrial-level strength. You must construct his enclosures using heavy-gauge steel livestock panels, erect tall physical barriers, and ensure his confinement area is located completely downwind from your milking parlor. To successfully fuel this massive breeding machine, his rustic browsing diet must be supplemented, because his gigantic frame requires calcium-dense legumes and high-fiber branches to guarantee flawless digestion. Evaluating the numbers on the livestock scale, you are looking at a dual-purpose marvel. This elite sire easily blasts past 220 pounds, injecting a massive bone chassis into his offspring that guarantees heavy meat carcasses and udders equipped for extreme butterfat. The preventative health alerts surrounding this giant must be executed with clinical precision. It is mandatory to balance his daily calcium to phosphorus ratio to evade lethal urinary calculi, watch the cartilage wear on his rear joints, and spray for biting flies. Analyzing the crucial commercial finishing phase, the Katahdin lamb steps up as the tireless worker driving your daily cash flow, acting as a key component of accelerated growth and instant environmental adaptation. These lambs biologically inherit their mother's enviable heat tolerance, enduring suffocating, humid afternoons inside the finishing pens without ever losing their aggressive appetite at the feed bunk. They exhibit a focused and peaceful temperament, standing shoulder to shoulder to devour daily rations in large, unified groups, diluting the destructive stress of isolation. The management of their final grow-out facilities performs brilliantly in simple, modular dirt pens featuring deeply compacted natural flooring, basic perimeter roofing shielding them from torrential downpours, and long, linear feed troughs. Their impressive transition to a supplemented rustic diet creates your greatest competitive advantage in the meat market. They kick off their lives aggressively grazing low pasture alongside their mothers and seamlessly finish their grow-out cycle packing away chopped, high-energy silage without suffering from dangerous gastric rejection issues. Reviewing the production records securing your profitability, this genetic line hands you uniform batches of lambs breaking the scale at 90 pounds in a rapid 120 days, yielding a masterful 50% dressing percentage of premium lean meat. Your preventative health alerts in these confined lots require extreme vigilance against deadly ruminal acidosis. Dietary transitions from green grass to heavy grain must be executed slowly to prevent sudden coccidiosis outbreaks. Finally, inspecting the harvest of the Anglo Nubian bloodline, we uncover a fascinating and lucrative income engine, a simultaneous business model where agile kids and milk flow together. These young animals hit the ground with outstanding climatic resilience built to endure scorching plains, displaying exceptional vigor and lightning-fast mobility the second they touch dry dirt. Their temperament is intensely curious, athletic and hyperactive, constantly climbing every structure in the pen, absolutely forcing you to maintain solid perimeter fences without a single gap for escape. Their rearing facilities demand spotless kidding pens, thoroughly ventilated weaning enclosures, and highly sanitized artificial feeding stations utilizing boiled nipples, allowing you to divert raw milk straight into your artisan cheese vats. The feeding program for these young athletes starts early, as they begin nibbling on fallen seed pods in the brush, but your economic gain explodes when you push their metabolism by supplying supreme cut forage and dry grain supplements in the creep feeder. The accounting numbers prove this is a highly lucrative venture. A professionally managed kid will cross the finish line at 65 pounds of harvest weight in exactly 90 days, delivering an exotic meat for the culinary market, while you secure a steady flow of solids-rich milk. Your final preventative health alerts carry a strict zero-tolerance policy. You must eradicate any dampness accumulating in their organic bedding to block infectious pneumonia outbreaks and dip the umbilical cord in iodine. It is thoroughly proven that in the burning savannas and tropical brushlands challenging us every day, commercial victory is never achieved by chasing aesthetic fads. You must strategically align the perfect genetic powerhouse with the actual natural resources your land provides. If you run vast pastures of average forage, desperately need to slash hired labor expenses, and want to build a rock-solid meat asset with minimum headache and daily maintenance, the Katahdin sheep is the ultimate biological asset guaranteeing your peace of mind and long-term financial stability. In direct contrast, if you possess unbreakable logistical discipline, operate high-drainage facilities, and carry the fierce ambition to dominate the premium market by crafting artisan cheeses while shipping heavy meat kids, the imposing Anglo Nubian will blast your farm's profitability into uncharted territory. Both paths require absolute dedication, but selecting the right animal for your specific environment changes the entire game. Let me know down in the comments which of these breeds makes the most sense for your setup. If you got some value out of this breakdown, hit that subscribe button and give the video a thumbs up so we can keep bringing you practical homesteading advice. To your success, fellow breeder. Until next time.